Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to the Living on Campus International Student Event. I have Michael Hall here today from the UC Housing Office to share information with you about living on campus and all those details. While you're attending, I ask that you pay attention to the presentation, as well ask your questions in the chat box. At the end of the presentation, we will do our best to answer all of your questions. If they're not answered within this presentation, we'll give you an email to write to us, and we will follow up. So, Mike, I will hand it over to you.
Thank you so much for having me. Welcome, Bearcats. Yeah, we've got a PowerPoint here that kind of walks through some of the things that our housing and food program offers, as well as touches on our portfolio a little bit. After we walk through that, as Nick stated, we'll open it up for questions. I won't really read everything here line for line, but just kind of point out some of the highlights. During the presentation here, it'll give you an overview of our campus housing, our meal plan, and also what those next steps are, as well as show you what some of the opportunities and some of the highlights and benefits of living within residential housing. University Housing is a partnership between Housing and Food Services, which I'm here representing, and Resident Education and Development. Resident Education and Development, they kind of, we'll dig a little bit deeper into it, but they're our colleague. We share the same footprint in our office space. They kind of handle the in-person stuff, the boots on the ground. We're kind of behind the scenes, the actual portfolio, maintenance of the portfolio, administering the housing contracts, the food plans, and we'll dig a little bit deeper into that as we move through the presentation here. And this fall, we anticipate 6,800 residents living with us across 17 residential communities. Our program continues to grow. We currently have one of our larger facilities offline, as we're doing a complete renovation of it. So we've block leased some properties that are right around the perimeter, the confines of what you may consider campus, but just along the peripheral of campus. It's something that we do every year over the last 6 or 8 years. We continue to grow as a university, and we're admitting and housing more folks than ever. As you can see, 25% of degree-seeking undergraduates live with us in university housing. And statistically, we're able to show that people are more likely to graduate and have higher GPAs to live on campus. We offer 3 types of rooms for the most part. We have your more traditional halls and traditional rooms, what you might think of as a dormitory. They come in single, double, triple, and quad configurations. A double's 2-person per room, triple 3, 4, and a quad. Basically, those traditional halls, the room types are one large room, shared amenities across the floor that includes the bathroom and kitchens. And one of the Sadal Hall is each floor is a different gender. I think Dabney and Daniels, it's kind of by wing, all females on one wing, all males on another wing. All of them have kitchenettes either on the ground floor or on each floor of the building with stove, kitchen, sink. Microwaves are also in that space, and kitchen tables. All of them have lounges on the floor. And each of the traditional halls also has a large community space on the ground floor. Most of them have several large community spaces on the ground floor, maybe one with a quiet area, something else with entertainment, a TV, maybe some gaming stuff, pool tables, ping pong tables, those sort of things. The next type, and each room type is a different price level. Traditional halls are the least expensive. Suites and junior suites are the next tier of expense and amenities, and then the apartment style. Suites and junior suites, we got them in Campus Rec, Stratford Heights, Marion Spencer, Turner and Schneider. At this point, Schneider is not online. We used it for our quarantine and isolation as we worked through the pandemic over the last couple of years. I think that it's going to be back online for this upcoming year, but that's not been determined yet. And this gives you an idea, if you read below, some of the floor plans that are included within those room types there. Usually the suite itself is by gender, and then those genders are mixed across the floor or the building. And lastly, we got the apartment styles. It's basically what you consider an apartment. These have full kitchens within them, either semi-private bathrooms or private bathrooms, contingent on which property it is. They're designed to support year-round occupancy because there's times when on-campus food is not available. And because these have full kitchens within the unit, residing within them year-round is easy to accomplish. And within those apartments, there's single bedrooms and some are as many as 8 beds within them. They might have a couple of double rooms within that unit and some single bedrooms within that unit. Those buildings also all have some community space, whether it be right on the floor or down on the ground floor. And I think one of the Scioto Hall's got a shuffleboard. I think that's the only shuffleboard on campus. We've got a couple of sand volleyball courts on campus too, next to the buildings. And those apartments, some are right in the center of campus and some are around the periphery of campus. As I spoke about before, Calhoun Hall's under renovation. Market Point's a dining center that's kind of right between Calhoun and Siddall Hall. That's going under complete renovations currently too. Siddall is going to be renovated as soon as Calhoun is complete. The picture there at the top shows you what a completed Calhoun's going to, or anticipated to look like. It's already kind of starting to look like that. I don't know, have you been by it, Nick, at all? Have you seen the updates? And then below that,
Yeah, it looks beautiful. It's going to be a gorgeous residential hall.
it's our largest hall and really our centerpiece because of where it sits on campus. And you can see it because it's 13 floors in total. I think it's been said that the living space on the 13th floor in Calhoun is the highest residential space in the whole city of Cincinnati. So you can see it from all over Cincinnati. And of course, we want you to feel supported. This kind of gives you an idea of how we work together with resident education and development. We overlap in many areas, but this shows like the overall student quality of life, and supporting the students is where we overlap. Resident education and development, like I said, many of their staff are the live-on professionals, like resident advisors, community coordinators. They also stand behind the living and learning communities, work with those individual departments on getting folks into those. And over in my area, we do the assignments, the housing agreement. We're in charge of the whole back end as you went through and completed the application and applied to live with the university. All that lives on our side of the house. Yep, living in the residence hall it offers many abilities, many things, many opportunities. You get the opportunity to live cooperatively, meet a large population of people. I think anywhere between 400 and 700 people live in each facility. So the opportunity to work alongside and be neighbors with folks from very diverse backgrounds and just all over the place. Help you improve your communication skills and your interpersonal skills. Most traditional dormitories, I think for a first year is a good idea. Most folks leave their doors open, welcome people coming in and talking to them, introducing themselves. The community tends to be a little bit stronger, I think. And it's mostly first and second years that live in those traditional buildings. As people move along through their education and through life, they tend to gravitate towards the apartments. And I think they've got that residential knowledge and experience, maybe a little bit more behind them, and the community doesn't seem quite as strong, a little tougher to get people together whenever you're living in those apartment type settings. All kinds of levels of support for first year students within the residential halls. Like I said, we have resident advisors. Typically, the ratio is 35 residents for every resident advisor within the building. Resident advisor is somebody that you can go to and talk to about any issues you might be having within the hall or personally. A community coordinator, someone that also lives within the hall. Each facility has its own community coordinator. They're a full-time professional staff that reports up through student affairs. The resident advisor directly reports to the community coordinator. Our neighborhoods are, the way that our portfolio is laid out, there's several different neighborhoods within our portfolio, and there's an area coordinator in charge of each neighborhood. I think we've got 4 neighborhoods in total, so 3 or 4 buildings fit within each neighborhood, and then the area coordinator oversees the community coordinator and the resident advisors for their particular neighborhood. Each neighborhood also has a university services associate. They run the front desk operations, keys. They manage the desk workers in the hall. All the maintenance concerns they take care of. And some of the things that we offer within our residential communities are quiet hours, the living learning communities. Faculty comes in and speaks with folks as the RAs do their programming, and all kinds of informal study groups and formal study groups like around our dining program. And like whenever we began making improvements to Calhoun Hall and underwent its renovations, prior to undergoing that task, we met with students, try to determine exactly what their needs are and what they're looking for, and attempting to incorporate as much as we can into that after we took their feedback in the renovations of Calhoun Hall. As a member of the residential community, students will have the opportunity to develop life skills, including leadership, inclusion, and community learning. There's volunteer opportunities within the building. There's also paid positions, desk assistants within the building. And like I said, the RAs do a lot of programming within the building as well. Some of the stuff is more fun, icebreakers, get to know each other kind of stuff. And then much of the programming is around leadership and inclusion. The living learning communities is something that most campuses do. We've been offering it the last 4 or 5 years. Typically, the LLC is either a portion of one floor or many floors within a building. The next slide talks about some of the LLCs that we offer here. So we've got one for DAP, the engineering, Linder College of Business, Scholars in Transition, Women in Science. Audrey Lord Social Justice House is an entire building within Stratford Heights. I think about 150 folks in there. The Bearcat Wellness LLC, You See the World, as well as Impact One, Abercrombie, and the Marion Spencer Scholars LLCs. I think there's a couple new ones that aren't listed there too. As you progress through the application, those that applied before the priority deadline, you would have been prompted if you had any interest in these LLCs. I think the whether you got in or not, that information came out last week. This talks about some of our meal plan options. As a first year residential student, live-on student, you'd be required to have the all access plan. The way that works, you can go to any dining hall that's on campus at any time, an unlimited amount of times per semester. That also includes $150 Bearcat cash, which can be used on site. We've got a couple of places where that can be used on campus, like Starbucks. We have Market on Main where you can pick up detergent and those kind of things. It can be used in all the vending machines across campus. And there's many places around campus where you can also use it, restaurants, the grocery store, the gas station. And the all access plan also includes 15 guest meals per semester. So if you've got a friend or family visiting and you want them to join you, and they don't have a meal plan, 15 times a semester, you can swipe somebody in to accompany you. The campus dining pass is available to folks that aren't required to have a meal plan. It's a little bit of savings. You can buy 36, 48, 65, or 100 swipes per semester. And all those come with different allocations of Bearcat dollars as well. Many different options. I think there's about 70 different meal options daily, typically across the 4 dining centers. We've got vegan, vegetarian, gluten-free options. And you're also able, not only are you able to swipe into the dining halls, they're also like meal equivalency swipes that you can use. Well, they have pre-prepared box lunches that you can swipe for and take. Examples, Catskill or DAP Cafe and the Bleecker Street Cafe out at our Blue Ash Satellite Campus. I mean, many of the folks in here joining us today, Nick, have probably went through the application process. This was only applicable to progress through these steps like this if you applied before the May 3rd deadline. The application opened way back up on January the 24th. The priority deadline was May the 3rd. And through that process, you're able to pick your roommate, pick somebody that you wanted in your roommate group and attempt. Once you have a roommate group, the way that it works, you have the opportunity to designate a group leader. And through the room selection process, if you have 2 people in your group, you'll be able to see which rooms are available that can house 2 folks. And at that point, the roommate group leader would be able to assign themselves and the other person in the roommate group. And the folks that have applied prior to the priority deadline either received a time slot earlier this week or will receive it next week. And that's when you'll have the opportunity to go in and shop from our rooms and look for a room. The next step after that will be scheduling a move-in time slot. And you'll get more information about that in your email.